Hello everybody, I am Dr. Farhan Zamir from Biotechnica, Bangalore. For today, we will have a very important discussion, and this would be on how to select good mentors who can actually navigate your career growth. So let's dive in. Hello everybody. So for today, the question is how to find a good mentor for your career growth. Now, this is a very crucial question, and this is case dependent. So let us try to understand who is a mentor and who is a good mentor, and then what do you understand by the growth curve trajectory, so that why is it so important to actually put up that particular slope which can follow that y is equal to mx plus c. Now, let us see who is a mentor. Now, remember, a mentor is a person who can actually navigate you through your career, or it could be either a personal mentor or could be a professional mentor. In this particular discussion, the major emphasis is towards your career mentor, that is your professional mentor. So make sure that your mentor is experienced, and many a times you understand your mentor well. So choosing a mentor is a key factor for your success. So many a times make it a point that the mentor should be at least 10 to 15 years experienced in that particular field, what you are aspiring to, and then you see a mentor as a role model. Okay, and then down the lane in the next 10 years or in the next 5 years, you want to get that knowledge transfer, so that whatever your mentor has achieved at the age of 45 or 50, you want the knowledge transfer to happen to you at the age of around 20 or 25. So please remember, selecting this mentor becomes very crucial. So what are the 5 tips to know how exactly is your mentor, how to choose a good mentor? Coming on to the first point, that is conversation is easy with them. So remember, whenever you have a mentor, the conversation with you and your mentor should not have any kind of barriers. So your conversation should not be hampered with any of the external or internal parameters. So the conversation should be very easy. Now, especially when it comes to research, identifying research mentors is also very difficult. Now, remember, the conversation between a guide and a student, a mentor and the mentee, should be in such a way that you do not have any kind of inhibitions. Whenever you have a great news, you share with great happiness, and whenever you have something which is upsetting, you share with the same equity, so that the pain and the gains have been equally shared, and it is only through your mentor who is able to lift you up from that particular situation. So remember, conversation between you and your mentor should be very easy. Then you work well together. Just check whether you work well together, because not always, in the first meet, everything looks rosy, everything looks fancy, but on the way, as the days go on, okay, you get fumbled, and then many a times you end up with a situation wherein you simply don't like the person. So just make sure that you strike that chemistry between you and your mentor, so that you can work well together. Then from your mentor, there should be always some kind of learning. So whether your mentor is able to teach you all those things, because many a times what I have seen is certain mentors, they think that their mentees, they themselves are competitors. Now, when the mentor thinks that a mentee is a competitor, do you think a proper knowledge transfer can happen? Absolutely not. So hence, it becomes very important that they have something to teach you. So this is a very important criteria, and this something is one which you want. Okay, it is not that the mentor has their own flavor, and that flavor you need to align to the flavor of the mentor. No. So you are having, as a mentee, you are having a particular flavor, and then you're looking at a particular mentor who can actually nurture your flavor, so that this blooms out with a beautiful professional career. Then, very importantly, they have a career that you admire. Very important. So, down the lane in the next 10 years, you want to become a professor. So now you start having a mentor who is already a professor, but on the way, he is not just a professor, he is a role model professor. So, teaching is different in a classroom, but kindling the innovative and creativity of a given student, that makes a difference between a mentor and a good mentor. So, you need to make sure that the career you admire, okay, you see in that particular mentor. Then, very importantly, they are well regarded, okay, and then they can work with each other, and especially with the co-workers and the supervisors. Now, this is again very, very important. You also see whether your mentor has, what kind of competitors and what kind of collaborators. So this can also define the temperament of your mentor. And then, if you're into that particular situation of a collaborator or a competitor, how exactly your mentor will actually, guide you throughout the entire process. All these 5 tips are the very, very important key tips which you have to remember when you're actually selecting a professional mentor. Now, what's the difference between the best mentor and a worst mentor? There's nothing called as worst mentor, just a few traits what you need to always look upon so that you don't end up into problem. Let us try to talk about the worst first, and then we go into the best next. So, many a times, a lot of mentors, okay, they are into an approach which is called a sadist approach. So here, there's a lot of negativity. Whenever you go with an idea, the first thing is the sentence would start with no. Okay, no, this cannot be done. This is a bad idea. Okay, this is not feasible in a particular lab. This experiment cannot be done over here. We don't have a facility. So rather than thinking of alternatives, the direct answer is no. And hence, this is how, many of the mentors, they actually create negativity. Then many a times they are impatient. Especially in scientific research, it is like mentors they are in a hurry for data. So it is just, a rush for data. So they become impatient. Okay, they are not able to analyze the data. They are not able to contribute for the data outcome. But however, they are just impatient. They just want the data. And many times in this particular, satisfying this criteria, most of the PhD students or most of the research students, they get frustrated. Then very, very egocentric. Now, many a times, the moment you try to refute with a scientific argument, not just in the intention of an argument, but however, you're trying to refute saying that this is the data which can align and this is the data which is, getting out of that particular true value. So if that's the case, there is always a reason for this. Now, many a times when there is egocentric, it is just like, do what I say and, I don't want to listen to any other comments of yours. So if there is something egocentric mentors, so just make sure, okay, you stay away with the egocentric mentors because it is very, very difficult to handle. Also, very poor communication. Now, certain mentors, many a times after a mentee gives a long speech of problems saying that this is a problem and, this is how I'm not able to do it. I'm stuck at this particular stage. Now, it is just, a nodding head or it is an yes or a no. So there's absolute poor communication. And many a times I have seen this, the mentor is available to the mentee once in a month or twice in a month, okay, which is simply not sufficient. So hence, it becomes very, very important that you nurture the child. The mentor should nurture the mentee in such a way that they are mentoring their own children, because the child which was born onto you, it did not just walk overnight. There was no overnight miracle or overnight magic. You slowly nurtured the child, and because of this, the child is able to, crawl and then walk and then run. Okay, so hence it becomes a primordial responsibility of the mentor that, there should be a proper communication. And then very, very important, disrespect. So, if you feel that at any point of time your mentor has disrespected you and there is something wherein your self-respect has actually come down, your confidence level has come down, your self-esteem, all these are certain traits wherein you need to look very carefully upon. And if this is the case, I think, selecting those mentors should be still questionable. Then finally, lack of trust. This is again a very, very important criteria, especially in research. When you're doing your experiments, okay, you get a result and finally you go with, all excitement, or, if it's a positive data, you go with an excitement. If it's a negative data, you go with, a depression, then saying that, sir, this did not work. But however, if there's a lack of trust, the mentor can still ask, really, did you really do it? Okay, or did the result really came up? okay, or did you manipulate? So did you adjust the curve? All these things, this can actually, lead into distrust, and then hence there's a lack of trust. So all these are certain key traits of a worst mentor or a bad mentor or just a poor mentor. But however, now switching on gears towards the best mentor, you can always have best mentors who are having huge amount of positivity. Now they are able to see huge amount of positive vibes. Now this is very, very important, because the moment you go down, the moment you go low, so this positivity actually boosts you up, and this is how you will keep your research going. Then very, very important, honesty. So many a times the mentors, they flutter the student saying that, you're the great student, you're the best student. So, being realistic is very, very important. Giving your honest opinion is again very, very important. So hence your mentor should be very, very honest. Then coming on to the next parameter, it is the leadership. So as you see, there are two types of leadership. One is the leader who can lead from the front, and the leader who can lead from the back. So both are good leaders, but however, you should know that what is the nature of your mentor, so that whether he is a leader who is leading from the front or the leader who is leading from the back. Okay, so in both the cases, you have certain pros and cons, but however, having a leadership property is always an add-on. Then having empathy towards you, very, very important. Your mentor should always have an empathy on you, so that they know your pains, they know your, when you're happy, when you're sad, understanding at an empathetic level becomes very, very crucial. Then very, very confidence. Okay, so the confidence should be, radiating from him or her, so that this radiance could be a contaminant to the mentee, so that the mentee can actually improve with the confidence. And this is how the mentor should make sure that the mentee has been filled every point of time with a high amount of confidence. And finally, the respect between each other. Please remember, trust and respect are the two important parameters which can bring two people, and it can lead into the best of the best positions. And this is how, that particular trust and respect between the mentor and mentee is very, very important. Now, I'm trying to give you a specific example of how exactly, before I approach a mentor, how do I know the scientific caliber of a given mentor at a research perspective. Now, Google Scholar is one of the best parameter which can give you a matrix of how exactly is the nature of your mentor. What is the psychology of the mentor? Example: the moment you put the login, you will plug in the name of your mentor. Okay, so then you will get in terms of years that how frequently is your mentor publishing. So whether only a single paper in 2 years or single paper in 3 years is coming out, and also looking upon the quality of the paper, you can judge what exactly is the quality of research which is going on in a particular laboratory. So please remember, the frequency of papers which are coming out is a key indicator of the progress of that particular lab which you are yet to join. This is parameter number one. Parameter number two, you need to also look upon whether your mentor's name is as a first author or it is in a corresponding author. Please remember, if your mentor is actually guiding students, then your mentor's name should be always as a corresponding author or as a senior author. Never it should be as a first author. So there are certain instances wherein certain mentors, they take away, they hijack the first authorship, saying that the entire work has been done by me, which is absolutely no, especially in a PhD student case, wherein everything the PhD student would have executed. Again, that publication plays a very important role for that budding researcher, and hence the mentor should be always as a corresponding author and not as a first author. So looking into the dynamics, looking at the psychology of the mentor through their publication is another important parameter. Then, whether the journals are peer-reviewed journals or they have been predatory journals. So looking upon this can also play a very important role with which can reflect the quality of research which is going into a particular laboratory. And nevertheless, you need to also look into the various kind of fundings which have been mentioned in the research paper, so that now you know whether your lab has all the equipments, all the facilities which are available for which can actually satisfy your hypothesis, or for every tit and bit you need to actually go on begging or borrowing with others, which can actually lead into a lot of frustration. So in terms of research, Google Scholar can actually play a very, very important role to understand the psychology of a lab, psychology of your seniors, and psychology of a mentor. Then another important such kind of a database is your PubMed, that is Publication Medline, which is from NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information. So this also gives you the idea of the frequency of publication, the quality of the publication, and under which publication head is your particular research going on, and what is the niche area of the lab, what is the trust area of the lab, so that you can align your ideas, you can align your hypothesis with the aims and scope of that particular laboratory. So these are the certain very key features which one has to look upon when they are selecting mentors, especially PhD mentors or postdoctoral mentors. This becomes very crucial. So at Biotecnika, we make sure that we try to help you, we try to assist you in all the possible ways, not just in terms of bioinformatics, not in terms of wet lab, not in terms of workshop or internships, but very importantly, an holistic approach has been given so that we are able to counsel you any point of time. If you feel that we are able to assist you, we can be your mentors. So we have been mentoring many students at Biotecnika and Rasainika. So if you want to become one of our students, so just subscribe to our channel, and also make sure that you can write an email, a direct email to us at support@biotecnika.org, and we are there for your help, because your success is our motivation. That is how we drive good science. Thank you very much for your patience. Stay connected, stay updated, and keep learning. Thank you.